Welcome, students. Welcome to the third part of Historiography, Indian Tradition. Now, in this part, we are going to see historiography in the post independence era. Now, along with the writing of the dynastic histories, the cultural and the social, economic histories are also being written. Scholars of the post independence era began to feel the need of writing histories of various communities, science, economics, system, political ideologies, cultural aspects. Thus, we could see the historiography of this era has been influenced by the three school of thoughts. First one, Marxist history. Second one, subletarian history. Third one, feminist history. Let us see what is Marxist history. We are all familiar with Karl Marx. We have already seen there are two classes of people, have and have nots. Here too we will find the same thing. In Marxist history, the concern for the means of production, modes of production, and the industrial relation were at the center in the writing of Marxist historians. Accordingly, to analyze the impact of every social event of significance has remained the basic theme of Marxist historiography. Marxist historians in India studied the transition within the caste system. Among the notable historians who adopted Marxist ideological framework, they are as follows: Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi, Comrade Shripad Amrutdangi, Ram Sharan Sharma, Comrade Sharad Patil have contributed notably. Comrade Dange was one of the founder member of Indian Communist Party. In his book Primitive Communism to Slavery, he has highlighted the Marxist historiography. Next topic, subtopic, which this lead to is subletarian history. The seed of subletarian history was found in Marxist historiography. I would like to mention the role of an Italian historian, Antonio Graham. He is very important in developing the idea that history should be written starting from the bottom rank of the people in the society. In fact, subletarian means bottom rank. Now, my dear students, let us see what have they written in subletarian history. Folklore are considered as very important source of writing subletarian histories. Example, I would like to give Mr. Ranjit Guha, an Indian historian, played a major role in establishing subletarian history as an important academic school of historiography. However, We may point out that much before the onset of subalitarian ideology, similar thoughts were expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Now, if you note that these two social reformers, both Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, both worked for the Dalits, for their upliftment of the Dalits. Now, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule unfolded the history of Shudra and Ati Shudra communities in his book called Gulamgiri. He drew attention on the exploitation of Shudras and Ati Shudras done under the name of religion. The term Shudra and Ati Shudra indicates the bottommost rank in the caste system. The role of the people belonging to the Dalit caste is very significant in shaping the various cultural and political aspects of India. I would like to mention Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. We all know Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He fought for the equality of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. He fought for their rights. And this is what he has said in his book. There were two books written by him which focuses on the problems of the Dalits. They are as follows. The first book, Who Were the Shudras? And the second book was The Untouchables. In both the books, he has cited examples of history of subalitarian type. Now, my dear students, let us go to the third school of thought, that is feminist history. Over a period of time, it is believed that the male scholars were involved in writing Indian history. As a result, the role and achievement of women remain neglected. To highlight this fact was the major task faced by the feminist historians. Also, it was important to study and compile the historical writings of the women. It was also necessary to rethink women's position in history. Now, my dear students, if you look at the position of women in Indian society, it was a second-class citizen. The women were only made to sit, or they were confined inside the kitchen to look after the children, to look after the husband. That was their role. Now here, the feminist history, they tried to bring out the hidden talents of the woman, and the women were highlighted in feminist historiography or in feminist history. Now we see among the women authors writing about women in 19th century, see, Tarabai Shinde was the foremost one. She wrote attacking the male-dominated social system and caste system in her book Stri Purush Tulna, published in 1882. It is acknowledged as the first feminist book in India. In 1888, the book written by Pandita Ramabai was published entitled The High Caste Hindu Woman. Now we will see the feminist literature of the post-independence era. Now when I say the feminist literature of post-independent era. Here I would like to reflect on the issues, or I would like to concentrate on the issues like employment of women, treatment meted out them at their workplace, their right to political equality. Among all the recently published feminist literature, Meera Kosambi's book Crossing Threshold, Feminist Essay in Social History. It is one of the most important one. It contains essay on the life of the stories of women like Pandita Ramabai, Dr. Rukmabai, the first practicing lady doctor of India, and a lot of literatures available unfolding viewpoint of Dalit women in Maharashtra. I would like to mention one example of the post-independent feminist history, Dr. Sharmila Rege. Dr. Sharmila Rege's work is noteworthy in the context of her book Writing Caste, Writing Gender. Reading Dalit woman's testimony includes her essay on the autobiographies of Dalit women. There are a number of Indian historians who wrote without embracing a particular ideology. Among them, some of the historians are Sir Jadunath Sarkar, Surendranath Sen, G.S. Sardesai, Trimbak Shankar Sezwalkar are noteworthy. In this recent times, historians like Yashwant Dinkar Phadke, Ramchandra Guha has contributed extensively to the historiography of modern India. Thus, I would like to conclude the lesson by saying that it is evident that Indian historiography has been influenced greatly by social and political movements. It seems that some part of Indian historiography was developed outside the influence of both social and political movement. Thank you, students, and have a great day.